Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted source for in-depth updates on the Iraqi currency landscape. In today's highly anticipated broadcast, we bring you a detailed overview of critical developments that are shaking up expectations across the dinar community. What you're about to hear isn't rumor or recycled talk, it's real-time intelligence based on ongoing financial shifts in Iraq. According to new insights, the long-awaited revaluation, RV, of the Iraqi dinar appears to be not only possible, but increasingly unavoidable. If you hold dinar, you'll want to stay with us until the very end. Frank26, a prominent and well-followed analyst in the dinar space, has just revealed powerful new data. His statements this week have stirred significant attention, suggesting that the revaluation is no longer a question of if, but when. His contacts inside Iraq, from media insiders to financial experts, are reporting a rapid pace of change. Frank stated plainly, it is getting closer every single day, basing that not on speculation, but on tangible reforms unfolding across the Iraqi economic system. Among the most notable changes is Iraq's aggressive move toward full digitization of its financial infrastructure. According to Frank, this isn't just modernization, it's the beginning of a full-scale economic reset. Iraq is actively withdrawing and destroying old currency notes. That kind of decision rarely happens unless a government is preparing to introduce a new system. Frank describes this as Iraq clearing the runway. After all, a country doesn't destroy its legacy currency without a bigger plan ready to take flight. This shift aligns with international monetary practices and demonstrates a clear break from outdated financial habits. Frank suggests that this transition signals the imminent rollout of a new economic model based on a fully digital framework. For keen observers, this quiet but consistent evolution indicates something far greater than surface-level reform. Gold plays a vital role in this equation, and what Frank26 revealed next is jaw-dropping. While official reports indicate Iraq holds about 145 tons of gold, Frank's sources on the ground suggest that the real figure may exceed 1,000 tons. If true, that would significantly change the nation's financial positioning. A country with such deep reserves of gold possesses an enhanced capacity to support a strong currency. Frank speculates that the Iraqi government is deliberately downplaying the scale of its reserves in order to delay international speculation until the moment is right. Large gold reserves bolster investor confidence and increase monetary credibility. Frank believes Iraq may already possess the required collateral to back a much higher exchange rate than is currently public. This could represent a strategic move to maintain secrecy until the full financial reset is announced. In this way, Iraq would surprise the global markets with a sudden and powerful shift in its currency's status. The International Monetary Fund has also weighed in with strong concerns about Iraq's recent economic performance. According to the IMF, Iraq's growth in non-oil sectors dropped from more than 13% to just 2.5% in a single year. That's not just a mild dip, it's a red flag. The IMF is urging Iraq to implement major economic reforms immediately or risk long-term financial instability. Their recommendations include curbing public spending, diversifying revenue streams, and reducing dependency on oil exports. Yet Frank believes Iraq might be preparing a different strategy altogether. Rather than simply adhering to IMF guidelines, Iraq could be preparing to float the dinar. This bold maneuver would allow the currency to find its value based on market demand rather than through artificial government controls. This theory gains support from the recent accumulation of gold, the digitization of banking systems, and the ongoing destruction of old paper currency. Adding even more intrigue is the possibility of former President Trump's influence in the background. Frank suggests that the IMF's messaging may not be independent at all. According to his view, the IMF is echoing a shared political agenda, pushing Iraq toward a new exchange rate under coordinated pressure. In his words, both Trump and the IMF are delivering the same message: Stop stalling and show us the new rate. While this may seem speculative to some, it aligns with a growing global impatience for Iraq to implement its economic reset. Whether or not one agrees with this viewpoint, the timing and coordination of global voices certainly raise questions. If powerful political forces are indeed aligned behind Iraq's revaluation, that could explain the accelerated pace of change and the reluctance of Iraqi leadership to reveal their full hand before they're ready. Let's now look deeper into Iraq's potential strategy for how the revaluation might unfold. Frank26 believes a sudden overnight RV may not be the country's plan. Instead, Iraq may initiate what's known as a controlled float, allowing the dinar's value to adjust gradually based on global market activity. This method would allow Iraq to reintroduce the dinar to international trade markets in a measured, strategic way that avoids economic shock. A controlled float has several advantages. First, it gives the market confidence and time to react. It reduces the risk of destabilizing the economy, which can happen with a dramatic one-time revaluation. Most importantly, it allows the Central Bank of Iraq to guide the process without completely removing control. Recent statements from Iraqi financial experts and hints from the media support this theory. With digital upgrades and note destruction happening simultaneously, it's hard to deny something significant is in motion. So, why hasn't Iraq just gone public with all this information? Frank26 believes secrecy is intentional. According to him, Iraq is following a deliberate and carefully timed plan. Publicly underreporting gold reserves, limiting economic data to the IMF, and withholding reform timelines are not oversights. They are strategic decisions. This type of discretion prevents early market speculation and foreign interference. It allows Iraq to execute its monetary reset without disruption or manipulation. Frank calls this approach a deliberate unveiling, suggesting that when Iraq finally announces its new exchange rate, the world may be caught off guard, but Iraq will be fully prepared. The benefit of this secrecy, Frank says, is to give Iraq maximum control over the process while limiting premature external pressure. For dinar holders, the silence could be the final clue that something transformative is about to happen. Now, turning again to the IMF, the latest official data paints a concerning picture for Iraq's budget. In a recently released report, the IMF stated that Iraq now needs oil to be priced at $84.00 per barrel to maintain budgetary balance. In contrast, that figure was just $54.00 back in 2020. This is a significant jump, and with oil prices remaining unpredictable, Iraq's dependency on oil revenue is becoming increasingly risky. Adding to the IMF's concern is the lack of transparent economic data. The institution openly admitted that it cannot complete a full assessment of Iraq's financial health due to missing figures. This is highly unusual. For one of the world's most powerful financial organizations to say it cannot properly analyze a country's economy speaks volumes. Frank believes this absence of data is not an oversight, but a sign that Iraq is intentionally concealing its financial position until the RV is activated. This secretive approach makes sense when paired with Iraq's broader actions, destroying old currency, expanding digital banking access, and possibly stockpiling more gold than publicly acknowledged. Frank suggests that Iraq is not just trying to fix old systems, it's preparing to unveil a completely revamped financial structure. The pressure is also mounting on Iraq to diversify its economy. The IMF has repeatedly stressed the importance of building up non-oil sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, and services. But Iraq seems to be opting for a total reset, not a gradual shift. Instead of tweaking what's broken, the country may be wiping the slate clean to create something entirely new. If Iraq can successfully pull off this transformation, it could emerge with more autonomy, increased stability, and stronger control over its economic destiny. From a dinar holder's perspective, these moves are crucial. Everything from the phased-out physical notes to the accelerated digitization points to one thing: Iraq is on the verge of reintroducing its currency to the world under its own conditions. That level of preparation doesn't happen for nothing. Frank26 believes this is not just positioning for a moderate shift in value, it's preparation for a dramatic entry onto the global stage. A key source of Frank's insights remains a contact known as Firefly, someone closely connected with media narratives inside Iraq. Firefly's latest updates are especially revealing. According to his reports, Iraqi media outlets are no longer keeping conversations about gold and exchange rate strategy behind closed doors. These topics are now appearing in public broadcasts and open forums. That change in tone signals a shift in how the government wants the public to think. Such messaging doesn't happen without intent. Frank points out that governments typically don't condition their population for change unless a decision has already been made. By allowing these discussions to reach the public, Iraq is quietly preparing its citizens for what's to come. That kind of conditioning is a significant step, and likely one of the final ones, before a major monetary announcement. As the situation evolves inside Iraq, it's also worth watching the global financial world. According to Frank, the signs of alignment are becoming hard to ignore. International organizations, foreign investors, and global analysts are all adjusting their models and language when discussing Iraq. Even trade partners are changing their expectations. This is not just an internal Iraqi development. It's a global pivot. Iraq's future revaluation could trigger broader market responses far beyond the Middle East. Now that we've covered the global backdrop and Iraq's internal preparations, the question turns to what does this all mean for individuals holding Iraqi dinar right now? According to Frank26, this is not a time to sit back and wait for headlines. It's a time to have a plan, because if Iraq makes the move, there may be no advance warning. A surprise announcement from the Central Bank of Iraq or a sudden IMF bulletin could change everything overnight. Timing will be everything. If you're not prepared with your banking strategy, documentation, and a plan for your holdings, you may find yourself caught off guard. As Frank has consistently warned, Iraq tends to move in silence. One moment, nothing appears to be happening. The next, there's a new exchange rate on the board. This is why staying engaged, particularly through real-time sources like Iraqi Dinar News, is essential. There won't be a countdown. Major financial shifts like this don't follow predictable timelines. They unfold quietly, behind the scenes, until a decision is executed. Iraq has shown a repeated pattern of quiet preparation, followed by rapid implementation. Those watching casually or from the sidelines might miss it completely, but those tuned in will be ready to respond the moment it happens. Our mission at Iraqi Dinar News is not to create hype. We're here to provide steady, accurate updates based on real developments and vetted sources. The voices you hear through this channel, including Frank26 and others, are connected to the processes unfolding in Iraq's financial, media, and political environments. We focus on intel, not speculation, so that you can be prepared, not surprised. Every move, from the IMF's unusual declarations to Iraq's aggressive gold accumulation to the country's decision to remain opaque on key financial metrics, is being tracked closely. All of these elements point to the same conclusion. Iraq is positioning itself for a significant monetary event. Whether it's a controlled float, a sudden RV, or a phased approach, doesn't change the importance of being prepared. If Frank is right, the revaluation of the dinar isn't just possible, it's likely imminent. And based on what's already happening, digitization of banking systems, destruction of old currency, and new messaging in Iraqi media, it could happen faster than most expect. The economic signs are not isolated. Global institutions, foreign governments, and trade partners are adjusting their expectations. The dinar's shift is no longer just a hope within the currency community. It's a topic of conversation in broader financial circles. That kind of global awareness often precedes large-scale movement. Frank believes this is Iraq's moment to take the world by surprise and introduce itself as a new financial force. For those holding dinar, this is a call to readiness. Review your options, understand your bank's currency handling policies, and know what documents or verifications you'll need when the time comes. As Frank26 reminds listeners, the opportunity may come without fanfare. You won't want to be scrambling while others are already executing their plans. At Iraqi Dinar News, we'll continue to monitor every development. When that rate changes, whether it's leaked, posted, or announced, we'll be here to break it down immediately. You can rely on this channel for a fast, clear, and honest interpretation of the news that matters most to dinar holders. If you haven't already, now is the moment to subscribe and enable notifications. With how fast things are moving, we'll be posting updates not just weekly, but daily when urgent intel comes through. Our priority is to keep you informed, equipped, and confident as the revaluation journey unfolds. The Iraqi dinar revaluation may have once seemed like a distant possibility, but based on the momentum building right now, that distant hope is transforming into something tangible. Prepare yourself, stay alert, and most importantly, don't miss your opportunity. If Frank26's analysis is accurate, and all signs suggest it is, then what lies ahead isn't just a reset, it's a global reintroduction of Iraq's true economic power. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next report.